A gold medal while only running 3 times a week, and that's without running any speed intervals or hills. That is what my client Joanna did on her very first half marathon. But what's even more important is she's training in a way that will allow for her to run for another 20 or 30 years without dealing with a constant stream of injuries, while the rest of her running friends are sitting on the couch letting time pass by. I'm going to show you how you can run your half or full marathon in as little as 8 weeks without running 4+ times a week, speed intervals, or hills. Because what I've noticed after coaching hundreds of runners is the key difference between runners who finish the race what they're proud of and run injury-free and the ones who don't simply come down to one thing, and that's their training. But first, here are a few more of my clients who decided to train smarter, not harder. Like Abby, who ran her first marathon in 4 hours and 3 minutes while only running 3 times a week. Heather, who ran the Chicago Marathon. Jody, who ran her marathon in 4 hours and 39 minutes. Now, you might be asking, who's Tony Johnson? And I was someone who was training for my first marathon, following a plan that had me run 5 times a week. And after a few weeks of doing that, I felt a sharp pain in my right knee. It hurt to walk, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to run my race or not. But I didn't want to quit, so I decided to keep training. And I asked my dad how he has ran dozens of marathons without getting injured. And he told me I didn't need to run 5 times a week. And that's when I realized I needed to create a new way to train for my marathon, one that would give me the endurance, the strength, and injury prevention needed to run my first marathon. And that's when I began only running 3 times a week and lifting weights 3 times a week. And within weeks, I ran my first half marathon with ease and power. A few months after that, I finished my first marathon in 3 hours and 53 minutes. I felt so proud of myself, and now I want to help runners like you run your half or full marathon while only running 3 times a week. But before I get into that, let me show you the old way, the typical way of training for a half or full marathon that has you run 5+ times a week, speed intervals, or hills. This is a typical plan right here. On Monday, you'll do a recovery run. On Tuesday, you'll run speed intervals. If you're lucky, you'll do cross training on Wednesday. Hills on Thursday. Friday will be a tempo run. Rest day on Saturday. And then after all that running, you have to go out and do your longest run and do a long run. If you've run mini marathons and you've been consistently running for years, this may work for you. But if you're training for your first half or full marathon, you dealt with injuries in the past, it's been years since your last race, or you're just simply not getting the results that you want to get, then this training plan probably won't work for you. You see, the biggest problem with this style of plan is the amount of running you have to do. Some of these plans have you run 40, 50, even 60 miles a week. That requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it also increases the chances of you getting injured because you're not able to give your body enough time to fully recover after each run. And if you get injured, well, then you're not able to give your training 100% effort. And if you can't do that, what do you think is going to happen on your half or full marathon? Right? It's probably not going to go as well as you would hope. And that's if it's a minor injury. What do you think happens if it's a major injury? You probably won't be able to run your race at all. And then you'll have to miss out on it on something that you trained for months. You could feel sad, and the people around you could be disappointed because they were so excited to watch you run your race. And to make matters worse, the injuries are going to affect your day-to-day life because now you can't move around as well. You might not be able to play with your kids or your grandchildren. Imagine training for 3 months only to get injured a couple weeks before your marathon. And here's the thing, if you have been injured in the past, it's not your fault. There was a study done by Yale that concluded 50% of runners get injured each year, and it's simply because of the amount of running they're doing. And it's even worse if you're training for your first half or full marathon because you're essentially going from 0 to 100. Think of it like this. If you've never swam before, you wouldn't start by swimming in the ocean where there's sharks and massive waves, would you? No. You would start by dipping your toes in the shallow end of the pool. It's the same thing with your running. If you try going from not running at all to running every single day, you're asking for an injury. But luckily for you, there is a new way to train for your half or full marathon. A way that you can run 3 times a week, finish your race strong, injury-free, and with a time that you are proud of. Now here's the new way to train for your half or full marathon, and it's to have a balance between running and strength training. So on Monday, you'll be lifting weights, doing a push day. On Tuesday will be a medium run. On Wednesday, you'll be back in the gym doing a leg day. On Thursday will be a shorter run. On Friday, another day of strength training and doing a pull day. Then on Saturday will be your long run with a day off on Sunday. Now there are 2 reasons why this plan works so well. First, we only run 3 times a week without running intense speed intervals or hills. You'll actually be able to give your body enough time to recover after each run, which reduces the chances of you getting injured. I know what you might be thinking, that running 3 times a week isn't enough, and that's exactly what some of my clients had to say. Just like Jeff here, who didn't think he could run 3 times a week, but he was able to run his half marathon in 2.5 hours. He was very pleased with the time. Christine, same thing. Didn't think she could run her marathon by only running 3 times a week. She ran her first marathon in 5 hours and 17 minutes. She said it went great and that she was so happy. Now the second thing we do, and it's even more important for older runners, is that we incorporate strength training. And I'm not talking about using 5-pound dumbbells, hand weights, or even doing body weight exercises. Our unique push-pull leg split strengthens our entire body while also targeting the weaker muscles. To finish your marathon without having to walk across the finish line, you have to be strong enough to do it. Most runners cross the finish line like a zombie from the Walking Dead, and it's simply because they don't have the leg strength. Think of it like this. If you're in the movie Fast and the Furious and you have to win a street race, would you rather be in a car that has 700 horsepower or 200? Obviously 700, right? Because you'd be able to go faster. And that's exactly what strength training does for you. So why not have that kind of horsepower for your half or full marathon? Plus, being strong will prevent you from getting injured. And if for some reason you do fall, you're not going to end up being that old lady on the commercial saying, "Help, I've fallen, I can't get up." You may be thinking right now that you don't know how to strength train, it's new to you, that you might get big and bulky and look like a bodybuilder or Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that's simply not the case. In fact, here's what a few of my clients had to say about that too. Just like Salma, who she's even said, "I've never been in the gym and she's always found it boring." But she decided to go into the gym, lift weights continuous, and she was able to run her first marathon in 4 hours and 28 minutes. And the crazy thing about Salma is she even said, "I never thought I could run a full marathon." She was dealing with a pelvis stress fracture that kept her away from running for 9 months. But it was a dream for her. She contacted me and I helped her incorporate strength training into her routine and only run 3 times a week instead of the typical training plan that she was planning on following. So she was able to run her first marathon, finish the race strong with a time she's proud of in just under 4.5 hours. Same with Mark. Mark was dealing with the hip injuries and he incorporated the strength training, was able to run an easy 8 miles that day, which was the farthest he'd ever ran since his hip injuries. And he's now ran half marathons, and he even says, "I truly believe in the program and the benefits of working with me." And also take a look at Brooke, who ran her marathon in 4.5 hours. And here's the thing, she says the last 6 miles were her fastest. Most people hit the wall at mile 20 and then they start walking. She ran her fastest miles at the very end of the race. And that's because she was doing the strength training 3 times a week, for 45 minutes to an hour. And she even says, I don't know how people do this without strength training. Like my legs just wanted to go faster. Same with Devry, ran her marathon in 5 hours, 12 minutes. Was dealing with injuries. She says, my first race, I didn't cramp up at all. And it was on the marathon. You know, she was dealing with injuries. Then she started doing the strength training and she was able to run her marathon injury free. Now, you really have two options. Either you can take what you learned here and try to piece this puzzle together by yourself. It may work, or it could result in wasted effort, confusion, and injuries. Or you can do it the easy way and get hands-on help from me, where I will create your customized half or full marathon training plan for you. You see, at the end of the day, you're already walking down this path. And so the decision is, how do you want to pay? Do you want to pay with time, where you waste unnecessary time trying to figure this out on your own? After all, time is the only thing you can't get back. Do you want to pay with injuries? That study I referenced earlier, 50% of runners get injured each year. And depending on the injury, you may have to pay visits to the doctor or physical therapist. Or do you want to pay with money? Something that you'll get back on your next paycheck. Now, I'm not asking you to make a decision on how you want to pay right now, but if you are interested in working with me and my team, then I invite you to schedule your strategy call with me. I'll ask you a couple questions about your training, and if then we feel it'd be a good idea for us to work together, I'll walk you through what that looks like. No pressure at all. You know, if you want to schedule a time to speak with me, then there's a button below. Click it. It will take you to my calendar. Or you can visit www.gotonyjohnson.com/strategy call and pick the time that works best for you. And as a little bit of a bribe, you could say, as a bonus, if you schedule a call today, I'll also give you some resources that I have created. I'll give you my training plans, my half and full marathon training plans that walks you through exactly what days to run and how far to run, what strength training exercises to do, and how to do them. I'll walk you through my unique leg workout designed to help you get stronger so you can run faster and injury-free. And I'll also throw in some nutrition training on what foods to eat and what to avoid while training for a marathon. And you can only have those resources if you decide to book a call today. Now, lastly, I want to leave you with a case study of one of my clients I did with Jody. And it's about how strength training helped Jody run her first marathon without getting tired, injured, or hitting the wall. So enjoy this case study.
Cool. Well, I'll just ask you a few questions about how your marathon went. And you're just starting there, Jody. And how much experience do you have with your running?
Oh, I've been running all my life, really. But in actual races, like half marathons, I think I started in 2015 because I ran 3 Golden Gates. I ran half in Long Beach and then a half in Orange County. So 5 altogether, halves.
And you just ran your first marathon. And, you started in 2015 running races. What were some of the biggest challenges you were having with your training?
Probably not training good enough. I know when I did the Long Beach half, they advertised it as 100% flat. So I didn't really train much at all, and it was not 100% flat. There was one little hill before I kind of would be out running and just did it, but I think I feel like I'm just in better shape now.
And weren't you dealing with like a knee injury along the lines of that?
Not an injury, but my knee was hurting a little bit, but it didn't hurt at all during the race. I think the reason why is because when you told me, because before I was running like every day, except maybe one day a week. So I think I was running too much, and that's why my knee was hurting. So when you told me to run only 3 days, I think that helped a lot.
Just because there was less pounding and pressure on your knee, or do you think also was because the strength training, you're really just strengthening your knee?
Well, I think both of those. But I think the strength training is what really might have helped with all the squats and stuff. Yeah, because it didn't hurt at all.
That's amazing. And then in terms of strength training, you didn't have much experience with lifting weights, did you?
Not really. I mean, I had this video that I've done for years and years and years, and it's just with little weights. It's not anything that I'd never, went to the gym or anything like that. So.
And do you feel like with us working together and the way I laid out, did you feel like you had more clarity on what to do in the gym?
Yeah, that helped me a lot. Your videos helped a lot. Although I didn't go to the gym because I didn't want to pay for a prescription that I didn't think I was going to use. So basically, I just tried to use the weights that I had at home and mimic what you were doing.
In terms of your training, obviously my training is significantly different than most people. Most people run every day, like what you were doing, and mine's 3 days of running, 3 days of lifting. How did you like that style of training?
I liked it. I really did. I knew that I had to do strength training in order to build my muscles to go the long run. So I liked that part. And basically, as it turned out, my knee wasn't hurting as much as it was when I was running like every day. And I felt like I didn't need to run every day. I mean, I got the job done on the marathon and I didn't run every day, so it all worked.
Was there a moment, or how long do you think it was until you started to notice that incorporating strength training, reducing volume was ultimately helping you with your training? Is there a certain day or time you really noticed when you started to work?
I think after I ran one of my long runs, 20 miles, that I realized that the strength training was helping, and that was one of the reasons why I was able to go the distance.
In what ways did you see strength training affecting your running?
I felt like it just didn't make my legs as tired. So like I remember doing one of my marathon or half marathons in San Francisco, the Golden Gate. And that's very, very hilly. And I remember on the last mile 12, my legs were just shaking. And so I didn't have any of that on the marathon. And that 100% is because of the strength training.
Oh, that's awesome. And so what would you tell runners who aren't doing any strength training? Would you tell them to incorporate strength training, or what would you tell them that are training for a marathon?
Most definitely incorporate the strength training, because that definitely helps. I mean, you need your legs to get you through, over the finish line, and you can't have that if you have weak legs. So that helped me tremendously.
And then just talk about the marathon itself. What was your experience like? How did the race go itself?
It went really well. It was supposed to start at 6. It was pitch black, but they had lights and everything, so that wasn't any big deal. It didn't start till like 6:20. The crowd was actually getting kind of irritated and was yelling. But once it started, it was really nice. It was in the 60s, low 60s when we started. And I think when we finished, it was up in the 70s, mid 70s. So it got really hot at the end. And the end part was all the hills. They said that there was an elevation change of 82, but when I did my tracker, my MapQuest, or Map My Run, it said that the elevation change was like 620. So I'm not sure what why there was so much difference. But yeah, mile 18 started with the hills, and mile 15 was kind of like a slow, long incline. And that was the part of the race that was super hot. So I just kind of drenched myself with water and just carried on.
Do you feel like the strength for the last 6 miles, a lot of runners, they hit the wall at mile 20, their legs are getting tired, they're pretty fatigued. Well, my theory is that they're not doing any strength training, but for you, do you feel like you're able to at least prolong the duration of when you hit the wall because of you were focusing on lifting weights while training?
Yeah, I really didn't feel like I hit any wall. At one point, my thigh hurt a little bit, but then, that was just for a brief minute. The only bad thing about the whole race is my AirPods gave out between mile 20 and 23. So no music at the end of the race, which was really, really annoying.
My AirPod died on me on mile 13 of my first marathon. So I have never trained without listening to music. And when I was playing growing up, sure, but running, lifting weights, always had my AirPods. And then I had to run 13 miles with no music on my first marathon. Worst experience of all time, but and they were kind of like messing up before, and I thought that I should take like one that had an actual cord with me just in case, and then I totally forgot. Yeah, that was horrible. That's so funny.
That was the part.
So what was your marathon time?
It was
And so last question for you. What would you say to the people who are on the fence with working with me, who are questioning if they should incorporate strength training in their routine? What advice would you have for them?
Oh, I would say 100% you need to. There's just no doubt about it. I think the strength training is what made my run enjoyable, really, because I wasn't hurting. I didn't hit a wall. I didn't feel like my legs were all wobbly like when I ran one of my first half marathons. Yeah, 100% changed that run.
If you like that case study, then I encourage you to click the button below and schedule a time to speak with me. I'll talk to you soon.